I think all of this RACE rhetoric that was in those text messages started with him. To me, in my opinion, that he has a race fetish. He has a fetish for that type of dynamic. I don't know any 19-year-old white woman that's running around hollering about a big black baby and baby gravy. Shannon was a 54-year-old big black grown man from the backwoods of Georgia.
Shannon Sharpe is feeling the heat like never before, after Monique dragged him straight through the fire during one of her recent stand-up sets. What started off as just another comedy tour stop quickly turned into a public roasting session that left the crowd howling and Shannon sitting in pure silence. It wasn't just the jokes that stung, it was the truth behind them that really cut deep. Monique didn't hold back when she stepped on that stage and brought up Shannon's $50 million lawsuit, the scandal with the OnlyFans model, and his long history of chasing after women who are barely legal. The moment she cracked that line, I told that. Shannon Sharpe, leave that white girl alone. The room erupted. But while the audience was laughing, Shannon wasn't, because behind that punchline was a situation that could cost him his entire career. This whole mess started brewing months ago, but it exploded recently when the world found out Shannon Sharpe was being sued for $50 million by a young OnlyFans model named Gabriella. She accused him of everything from grooming to exploitation, painting a picture that had the internet buzzing. But what really made the drama hit harder was the fact that Monique had already warned Shannon, live and unfiltered, during a February 2024 episode of Club Shay Shay. Back then, Monique didn't mince words. She told Shannon directly that he needed to stop running after women half his age. She didn't say it to be funny or to go viral. She said it because she saw the writing on the wall. But Shannon laughed it off like it was just another joke now. With the lawsuit hanging over his head, Shannon's podcast empire is in serious trouble. That $100 million deal he was about to sign, it's now sitting on ice. Sponsors have gone quiet, his media colleagues silent, and instead of support, he's getting roasted left and right, especially by people who were once in his corner. Sources close to Shannon say he feels betrayed, not just by the public but by people in his own circle. He expected Monique to defend him, but she did the opposite. She put him on blast in front of a sold-out crowd, and then the internet picked it up and ran with it. During her performance on Cat Williams' Heaven on Earth comedy tour, Monique didn't hold anything back. She reminded the crowd that she tried to put Shannon on game before it all went downhill. She called out his obsession with youth and lifestyle over substance and wisdom. "You don't need number 26-year-old girl," she said. "You don't need no 36-year-old girl." And now, those words hit like a prophecy. She wasn't guessing, she was warning. But Shannon, living in his own world of gym selfies and flashy appearances, didn't want to hear it. He kept chasing after a fantasy, and now it's cost him his reputation. Fans have been pulling up old clips from that Club Shay Shay episode, pointing to the exact moment where Monique laid it all out. The way she spoke here wasn't just shade. It was tough love. She told Shannon to find someone older, someone who saw him as a man and not just a walking bank account. But Shannon couldn't receive it. Instead, he giggled through the conversation like it was light banter, brushing off real advice that could have saved him, and now, with headlines blasting his name alongside words like scandal and lawsuit, folks are saying he had it coming. The lawsuit itself is turning into a circus. Gabriella, the model at the center of it all, is demanding $50 million in damages, claiming Shannon manipulated her emotionally and financially. She says he wanted her to sign an NDA, and when she refused, he turned hostile. In leaked texts, she claimed he offered her $10 million to keep quiet. And what's making it worse, Shannon hasn't released his side of the messages. All we've seen are her words, some of which are raising eyebrows, with uncomfortable racial undertones. In one line, Gabriella says she wants Shannon to put a big black baby in her. The internet instantly asks, why would a 19-year-old white girl say something like that? Unless she was mimicking something she heard. Now, people are saying the racial tone of those messages didn't start with her, it started with Shannon. That comment about the big black baby and baby gravy had folks seriously questioning what kind of dynamic Shannon was encouraging behind closed doors. Monique hinted at this months ago when she said older women wouldn't fall for that kind of talk. They'd shut it down instantly, but younger, impressionable girls, they're more likely to go along with it. That's the root of the power. Imbalance people keep pointing to. Shannon's 54, Gabriella's 19. There's no way to ignore that age gap. especially when the text messages suggest he had control over the tone of their interaction. Now, the public is seeing this not just as a messy hookup gone wrong, but as a grown man using his influence to steer conversations in uncomfortable directions. And that's not the only thing that's come back to bite Shannon. During a recent episode of Nightcap, while discussing his daughter's wedding, Shannon casually said he wouldn't spend more than $30,000 on it. In fact, he even joked that spaghetti and fried fish would be on the menu. Fans weren't laughing. They were outraged. How is it that this man is reportedly offering millions to a girl he met online, but he's capping his own daughter's wedding? At 3OK, the hypocrisy didn't go unnoticed. Social media lit up with comments calling him out for valuing strangers over family. Some fans even dug up more receipts, showing that Shannon once claimed he helped a woman pay for her divorce just because he believed she was the one. And yet, he's pinching pennies when it comes to his daughter's big day. People are putting the puzzle pieces together, and the picture they're seeing isn't pretty. One fan tweeted, "This needed to happen. Shannon's been exposed as a straight-up hypocrite." Another said, "Shannon got what was coming." Monique Cat Williams, and even Lil Yachty tried to tell him. That's right, Lil Yachty, during an appearance on Shannon's own show, questioned his taste in women. And instead of taking that criticism seriously, Shannon laughed it off again. The problem isn't that people didn't warn him, the problem is he didn't listen. He was too busy living his version of a flashy lifestyle, thinking his fame and muscles would shield him from consequences. Now, the fallout is intense. Shannon's name keeps trending for the wrong reasons, and even if he somehow wins in court, the court of public opinion might already have its verdict. Companies like Disney, who own ESPN, don't care if you're found innocent, they care about how your name shows up in headlines. And right now, Shannon's image is tangled in a storm of allegations, leaked messages, and awkward interviews. That $100 million podcast deal, it was supposed to secure generational wealth, but it's slipping through his fingers. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just 3 days before Gabriella filed her complaint, Shannon was reportedly set to sign a major media deal that would have locked in all of his shows: Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, The Bubba Dub Show, and more. Front Office Sports had even reported on it. But with this lawsuit now front and center, the media companies are backing off. They don't want to take that risk. And who can blame them? Nobody wants their brand attached to a man getting roasted on stage for chasing after teenage models. Monique has said it wasn't just comedy, it was truth disguised as jokes. She called out Shannon's dating habits, his priorities, and his refusal to grow up. And fans saw through it all. One said, "Monique tells jokes, but she don't lie." Another added, "Shannon brought this heat on himself. She warned him. He didn't listen." And when Shannon snapped on his own podcast, yelling "shut up" off camera during a conversation about the NFL draft, people said that outburst revealed just how rattled he really is. That's not confidence. That's a man losing his grip. Shannon's past comments are also catching up to him. He once proudly said he paid for a woman's divorce so he could be with her. He also bragged about wild bedroom stories that made even NFL legend Deion Sanders uncomfortable. Now fans are saying that behavior has always been a red flag. They just didn't connect the dots until now. And it's not just fans talking. Dr. Umar recently chimed in, saying that Shannon crossed a serious line by getting involved with a 19-year-old. He said that even if Gabriella's claims are about money, Shannon should have known better the moment she refused to sign an NDA. That should have been his cue to walk away. But he didn't, and now it might cost him everything. His net worth is estimated around $30 million, far below what Gabriella is demanding. If he loses in court, it could bankrupt him, even if he wins. His reputation is taking hits left and right. The clips, the texts, the jokes, it's all adding up. The streets are talking. Brands are backing away. Even his closest supporters are going quiet. Monique, meanwhile, is standing tall. She gave Shannon the real years ago. He didn't want to hear it, and now he's paying the price. This situation is a prime example of what happens when ego, fame, and denial collide. Shannon had chance after chance to switch up, to grow, to listen. He didn't, and now people are asking the real questions. Is this just the start of a full fall from grace? Can Shannon ever recover his image and reclaim the spotlight? Or has he burned too many bridges to walk back across? Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Monique warned him. And her words didn't just age well, they hit harder now than ever before. Chak said, and as this mess continues to unfold, more people are circling back to how Shannon's own behavior fed into this downfall. It's not like this was some overnight scandal that popped up out of nowhere, no. Shannon laid the groundwork himself. With years of oversharing, chasing clout, flaunting his dating life, and ignoring genuine advice. Monique wasn't the only one trying to drop wisdom on him either. If you go back and watch episodes of his shows, you see moments where guests and even co-hosts tried to steer the conversation in a more grounded direction. But Shannon would always bring it back to showing off his lifestyle. Whether it was bragging about women, expensive liquor, or how hard he works out. He was building an image based on flash, not substance. Now that the spotlight is turning toxic, that same image is collapsing under its own weight, and the silence from his inner circle is deafening. These are the same people who were sitting beside him during his rise, sharing laughs on camera, going viral with his clips, and riding the wave of Club Shay Shay's success. But now, they've gone ghost. No public support, no defense, no interview sticking up for his character. It's as if they all saw what was coming and decided to step back before it dragged them down too. Even athletes who used to rock with Shannon have gone quiet. That tells you everything you need to know. When controversy strikes, the real ones show up or they disappear. And in Shannon's case, most chose the latter. What's worse is that Shannon doesn't seem ready to accept accountability. Instead of acknowledging that maybe he played a role in how the scandal exploded, he's reportedly angry that Monique dared to speak on it. Angry that she turned his situation into material. But let's be honest, she didn't start the fire. She just shined a light on it. She simply did what comedians do, told the truth, wrapped in a joke. And that's why her set hit so hard. It wasn't just funny, it was real. Too real for someone like Shannon, who's been avoiding reality for a long time. The deeper people dig, the more they're realizing this is a pattern. Shannon has a history of keeping his personal life private, except when it came to his romantic escapades. He was quick to talk about how fine a woman was or how much money he dropped on a date. But when it came to his family, his daughters, for instance, he was quick to put limitations on them. Fans are calling that out now more than ever. They're wondering how a father who's reportedly spent hundreds of thousands on women from the internet won't even consider splurging for a once-in-a-lifetime event for his child. That kind of inconsistency is what ruins public trust. It's what makes people question whether the wholesome image Shannon tried to build on TV was ever real. Then there's the uncomfortable truth about Gabriella's leaked messages. They weren't just explicit, they were disturbing. The language about race, power, and control struck a nerve. And while Shannon hasn't confirmed or denied any of the leaked content, the fact that he hasn't shown his side of the conversation only fuels suspicion. If you're innocent, why not clear the air? Why not show the world that you weren't engaging in those race-based fantasies? His silence speaks volumes, and fans are picking up on it. They're realizing that this isn't just a he said, she said scenario. This is about the way Shannon handled the relationship, the power dynamics at play, and the image he tried to keep hidden behind the screen. Even more troubling are the claims that Shannon tried to settle everything quietly with a cash offer. According to reports, he allegedly offered Gabriella $10 million to sign an NDA and walk away. When that didn't work, things escalated. And now, that $10 million hush deal might end up turning into a $50 million legal payout. It's a classic case of trying to bury a problem with money, only to have it explode even bigger. And let's not forget, this happened just days before. Shannon was supposed to sign a deal that would have changed his life forever. He was on the brink of becoming one of the highest paid media personalities in the game, right up there with Stephen A. Smith. But instead, the deal was pulled, the headlines turned ugly, and now Shannon's media future is hanging by a thread. The sad part is that Shannon could have avoided all of this if he had just listened to the people around him, if he had taken Monique's advice seriously. If he had matured past chasing after 19-year-olds while pushing 60, none of this would be happening. He could have protected his brand, grown his empire, and kept building on the respect he earned from years in the NFL and sports media. But now, all of that is in jeopardy. And for what? A relationship that wasn't worth the risk, a fantasy. That turned into a public nightmare. And the internet doesn't forget. Every old clip, every controversial quote, every awkward moment is now being resurfaced and reanalyzed. Fans are looking at Shannon through a new lens. What used to be seen as harmless jokes or bold personality quirks are now being viewed as red flags. His own words are being used against him. The stories he told about helping a woman divorce her husband, just so he could be with her, those don't sound romantic anymore. They sound manipulative. The bragging about sexual escapades and flashy spending, That no longer impresses people, it disgusts them. Monique, on the other hand, is getting praise for her honesty. Even people who haven't always agreed with her in the past are giving her credit for keeping it real. She's not celebrating Shannon's downfall, but she's standing firm in the fact that she called it before it happened. She didn't sugarcoat it, she didn't hold back, and now the truth is speaking for itself. She's become a symbol of what it means to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's why her roast hit different. It wasn't about tearing Shannon down, it was about holding him accountable. There's also a deeper issue people are pointing out: the way older men in power often target younger women because they're easier to manipulate. Monique touched on this too. She said older women wouldn't fall for the stuff Shannon was trying to pull. They recognize it for what it is: a man using his status to get what he wants, but a 19-year-old, she's still figuring out who she is. She doesn't have the life experience to recognize when she's being played. And that's what makes this situation so disturbing for a lot of people. It's not just about sex, it's about power, it's about control. And it's about how men like Shannon use their wealth and fame to get away with behavior that wouldn't fly in any regular relationship.